Path of Exile is a tough game. Plenty of people suck or have sucked at it. Here's how to suck slightly less. First, just follow a beginner build guide. Seriously, it will alleviate 95% of your problems instantly. Choose an archetype that sounds cool to you, like bow and arrow, sword and shield, or elemental mage. Slap PoE beginner build at the end of it and put that puppy into Google, call it a day. I find written guides more useful than videos for complete beginners. Inky's Arc Witch is pretty much the de facto beginner guide. A link to that is in the description below. You don't actually have to play the build, just take a look at it as a reference for other guides. But say you're already following a guide or you're just winging it yourself, you actual mad lad. What do you do then? Once you hit that inevitable progression wall, how do you push past it? The biggest thing is don't get discouraged. There are so many different avenues of progression in Path of Exile. There is always something readily available to make yourself more powerful. The worst thing you can do is just give up. Obviously, as a new player, the tricky part is figuring out what those avenues actually are. I'm not here to tell you the things that the in-game tutorials or common sense already tell you, like the basics of equipping skills or using flasks. I'm here to get you through the metaphorical brick walls. So here's your secret weapon. Boom, PoE.ninja. Don't worry, no downloads or third-party installs necessary. Yet. It's just a website. All you do is go on over here, type your build's main skill in, the one that you actually use to kill everything, find your class, and voila. If you're relatively new, I suggest that you filter by SSF, solo self-found, rather than trade league, as the characters that you'll see will typically have more reasonable pieces of gear that you can obtain. But here's how to extract the helpful info out of whatever you see. First, just go through and open like 5 or 6 characters. If your main skill is an attack, look at their weapons. What stats do you see? Probably just a lot of damage, right? The most important factor in how much damage an attack deals is the weapon that's actually attacking with it. So if you feel that you're not doing enough damage, the problem is almost certainly to be your weapon. The two big stats to look out for on a weapon are its physical damage and its attack speed. Most builds want weapons with decent flat damage and decent attack speed, so you want to get a good mixture of both. Leaning too far one way or another will probably net you results that you weren't looking for. Too little speed and you'll feel sluggish, too much speed and you'll just run out of mana. The easiest way to upgrade your weapon is to go to your highest level vendor, so the one in your current campaign act, and look for a base type with decent base attack speed. Buy it, smack 4 blacksmith whetstones on it, and toss an orb of alchemy, binding orb, or essence on it, depending on whatever you have. Remember, all that you're really looking for is a good amount of physical damage, both flat and a percentage if possible, and some attack speed. The higher the base speed of the weapon, the less reliant you are on landing a good attack speed roll, or any attack speed roll for that matter, so long as it rolls some good physical damage. If you rolled good flat or good percentage, but not both, slam the weapon into your crafting bench and then craft whatever is missing. Can't craft on it. Use the weapon anyway if it still looks like a significant enough upgrade over what you're currently using, or just repeat the entire process again on a new base type in hopes for better RNG. Welcome to Melee Path of Exile. If your main skill is a spell, well then the most important thing isn't actually your weapon, it's the level of the skill gem itself. Therefore, when you take a look at other people's builds, you'll almost certainly see +1 level of gems on their weapon, shield, or amulet. There are, of course, some exceptions to this, such as if you're scaling your damage primarily through damage over time, then you'll see a whole bunch of damage over time multiplier instead. But regardless of which skill you're using, or whether or not it's attack or a spell, don't hyper-focus on trying to get exactly what you see from the other players. 1, it's literally impossible, and 2, you don't need exactly what they have. Remember, there are so many ways to progress your character, you will find some of them on your own. Use these other builds as references and especially as a way to quantify your next goal. They may have a really good shield or a really good pair of gloves that make you go, wow, I could really use something like that. Or maybe they have something that makes you go, oh, I never thought of using stats like that. Either way, seeing how others are building your skill is bound to be the best way for you to progress your own build. If for whatever reason you still find yourself struggling to synthesize what you see on PoE.ninja with what you can feasibly do in game, then it's time to click this little button right here. Remember that third-party software that I mentioned earlier? Yeah, now is the time. You need Path of Building. Seriously, I cannot overstate how useful this program is. Path of Building is for Path of Exile what OP.GG is for League of Legends. If you're not using it, you're putting yourself at a disadvantage. At the bare minimum, it's the best way to plan your passive skill tree, you know, that thing that you'll be interacting with every 5 to 10 levels while going through the campaign. Pretty useful tool. And at the absolute extreme, it's the way to plan every single little upgrade and every single facet of those upgrades for your entire time on that character. If you are a newer player, I recommend that you start out using it solely as a passive tree planner and gradually working your way up to the rest of its tools. Chances are the build guide that you're following has a POB link to it, so use that as a starting point. Otherwise, simply type in your PoE account name, the one that you see on the website, not each individual character name. Type that in and import your exact character with all of its gear, levels, skills, and passives automatically configured. Test out, take making some new passes over there or equipping some new gear over here completely risk-free. At the end of the day, as I said in the intro, Path of Exile is a complex game. Even its most veteran of players learn new things about it on a regular basis. If I could give you every possible solution to improving your specific build, I would. But I can't, one last time, because there are just so many possibilities. But that should excite you. Remember, don't get discouraged. If you get stuck, there are always a handful of solutions around the corner waiting for you to find them. All you have to do is be willing to look. I'll be streaming the upcoming Forbidden Sanctum League over at twitch.tv/WoolieGaming, so come say hi and ask any question that you would like. I'm always willing to help. Thank you for watching.